Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Neville Goddard. Right now, your reality looks fixed, solid, permanent. But what if I told you the life you're living is nothing more than an echo of your imagination? Neville Goddard revealed a shocking truth. Imagination creates reality. Not sometimes, not only for the lucky, always. And tonight, as you listen, even if you fall asleep, you will begin the process of reprogramming your mind. You will learn how to imagine not what you fear, but what you truly desire, until it becomes as real as the air you breathe. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear is not theory. It is the key to shifting the life you see when you wake up tomorrow. Close your eyes for a moment and think about today. How many times did you imagine failure before success? How many times did you rehearse fear before peace? How many times did you picture rejection before connection? Most people don't even realize it. But all day long, they are imagining scenes of loss, fear, struggle, and then living those very scenes in reality. Neville Goddard said it plainly: imagination creates reality. The tragedy is, we are using this law unconsciously. Ethan's invisible film. Ethan wakes up every morning to the same ritual. Before his feet hit the floor, his mind starts projecting. He sees bills piling up on the counter. He imagines his boss frowning at his work. He pictures his future shrinking, trapped, stuck, hopeless. None of this has happened yet, but in Ethan's imagination, it's already real. As he walks into the office, his body is tense, shoulders heavy. He answers emails with a defensive tone. He avoids opportunities because deep inside, he's already decided, I can't afford to fail again. The result? The very scenes he imagined, criticism, setbacks, scarcity, play out in his real life. Ethan doesn't know it, but his mind is a projector, and the film he runs inside himself is the same movie he watches outside. Maya's invisible film. Maya scrolls through her phone late at night. She sees friends getting married, colleagues celebrating promotions, strangers smiling in perfect photos. Her imagination fills the gaps instantly. I'll always be alone. No one really wants me. I'm not enough. She pictures herself rejected, ignored, forgotten. She imagines dates that never call back, conversations that end in silence, people laughing at her behind her back. And when she wakes up the next morning, she carries that invisible film into every interaction. She walks into rooms already bracing for rejection. She closes her heart before anyone can open theirs. She lives alone, not because no one cares, but because her imagination has convinced her it must be so. Like Ethan, Maya doesn't realize her mind is a projector, and the film is one of loneliness, disappointment, and comparison. The projector of the mind. Here is the metaphor Neville would have you see. Your mind is not passive. It is not a blank screen. It is a projector. And the images you run through it, fear, failure, lack, are the very images you end up watching in the theater of your life. The outer world is not the beginning. It is the echo, the reflection, the playback of the inner film. If the film is scarcity, the life is scarcity. If the film is rejection, the life is rejection. If the film is fear, the life is fear. You are not cursed. You are not unlucky. You are simply watching the movie you play every day in your imagination. The cycle of creation. How does this happen? It begins with a single thought. What if I fail? That thought stirs emotion, fear, anxiety, dread. The emotion deepens into conviction. I probably will fail. The conviction shapes behavior. You hold back, you play small, you shrink, and the behavior creates the result: failure. Thought, emotion, conviction, reality. And then, because the result matches the thought, you say, "See, I knew it, I was right." The cycle repeats. The film keeps running. The projector keeps playing the same story. Ethan's cycle. Ethan imagines debt. The thought triggers dread. Dread convinces him he's stuck. Conviction keeps him avoiding risks and opportunities. Avoidance creates more debt. He says, life is unfair. But really, life is just echoing the film he plays inside. Maya's cycle. Maya imagines rejection. The thought triggers sadness. Sadness convinces her she's unworthy. Conviction makes her close off. Closed-off behavior creates distance. Distance becomes rejection. She says, I'm unlovable. But really, she is just watching the movie her mind runs each night. The universal trap. This is not just Ethan's problem or Maya's problem, it is the human problem. The person who imagines illness lives in constant fear of symptoms. The person who imagines betrayal sees lies even where there are none. The person who imagines scarcity feels broke even when money is in their hand. We are rehearsing reality without knowing it. We are directing films that destroy us, then blaming the screen for what we see. The pain of unconscious imagination. The pain is twofold. One, the experience itself. Anxiety, loneliness, scarcity. Two, the illusion of helplessness. We think reality is punishing us, when in fact our imagination has been the author all along. This is why Neville's words are so radical. Imagination creates reality. Because if imagination is the cause, then reality is not fixed. But before we get there, we must see the depth of the trap. Most people are imagining unconsciously, and they imagine fear. Why negative films dominate? Why do Ethan and Maya choose films of fear instead of films of joy? The answer is simple: conditioning. From childhood, we were trained to imagine worst-case scenarios. Don't get your hopes up. Expect the worst, then you won't be disappointed. Be realistic. We confuse worry with responsibility. We confuse fear with wisdom. So the negative films play automatically, without effort. Metaphor, the endless cinema. Imagine sitting in a cinema where the same tragic film plays every day. You cry, you suffer, you leave broken. But instead of walking out or changing the reel, you keep coming back convinced this is life, this is all there is. That is how most people live. But here is the truth. You are both the audience and the projectionist. The film can change, but only when you realize you are the one choosing it. The audience's mirror. So now, let me turn this mirror to you. What film do you play most often in your imagination? Do you see yourself broke, rejected, failing, weak? Do you run those scenes not once, but hundreds of times a day? And do you then watch those exact scenes unfold in your outer life? This is the invisible problem. Unconscious imagination is directing the story of your life. The loop forward. But here's the breakthrough that keeps you here, listening. If imagination creates reality, if the mind is a projector, if the film inside becomes the life outside, then the question is simple, but life-changing. What if you could choose the film? What if you could dwell in a new scene until it becomes your world? And that is where we go next. Neville Goddard's message was radical in its simplicity. I tell you that imagination creates reality, and I ask you to imagine a state, any state, which would imply the fulfillment of your desire. This is the first solution to the invisible problem. Stop letting fear direct your film and consciously choose a new scene. Ethan learns to imagine differently. Ethan was drowning in the film of debt. Every night he rehearsed fear, and every morning he woke to the echo of that fear. But one evening, he decided to try something new. He sat in his chair, closed his eyes, and pictured something he had never allowed himself to see before. A simple white envelope. On the front, stamped in bold letters, "Paid in full." He held it in his hands. He let himself feel the relief in his chest, the smile rising on his lips, the weight lifting off his shoulders. He whispered, "It's done. It's taken care of. I am free." For the first time in years, he didn't fall asleep rehearsing fear. He fell asleep rehearsing freedom. Maya learns to imagine differently. Maya, too, decided to shift her inner film. Instead of imagining rejection, she closed her eyes and pictured a moment after love had already arrived. She saw herself in the arms of someone who truly valued her. She felt the warmth of the embrace, the quiet safety, the gentle heartbeat against her cheek. And she let the feeling grow until it was more real than any photo she had seen online. She whispered, "I am loved. I am chosen. I am enough." And for the first time in years, she went to sleep with a smile. The principle of fulfillment. This is Neville's teaching. Don't imagine the process, don't imagine the struggle, don't imagine the how. Imagine the end. Imagine the scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. It could be holding the keys to your new home, signing the acceptance letter for your dream job, hearing a friend congratulate you on success, feeling the relief of healed health. The outer details don't matter. What matters is the inner conviction that it is real, the inner conviction. Here lies the secret. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It doesn't matter if they call it fantasy, delusion, or wishful thinking. What matters is that you feel it as real, because once your inner world convicts you, your outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself. Guided affirmation. Moments. So let's practice together, right now. Close your eyes if you can. See it now. Feel it now. Breathe it now, as if it is already yours. Picture the scene of fulfillment, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Hear the words you long to hear. See the evidence in your mind's eye. Touch it, taste it, live it in your imagination. Stay there until conviction replaces doubt. Why this works. Neville explained that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between imagination and reality. What you vividly imagine with feeling becomes a seed planted deep in your subconscious. And that seed must grow. This is not mere wishing. This is dwelling until it feels real. Ethan's transformation begins. After weeks of practicing his paid-in-full scene, Ethan noticed changes. He felt calmer at work. He approached challenges with less fear. He even noticed opportunities to resolve his debt that he had ignored before. The envelope had not arrived yet, but inside he was already free, and the outer world began to match the inner. Maya's transformation begins. Maya continued rehearsing her scene of love. She let the embrace become her inner reality, and slowly she walked through the world with a lighter heart. She smiled more. She attracted deeper conversations. She felt worthy before anyone proved it to her, and soon the outer world began to reflect her new conviction, the audience's challenge. Now I turn to you. What scene are you rehearsing every night? Is it one of fear, rejection, lack, or is it one of fulfillment, peace, abundance? Neville would tell you, you are free to choose. Tonight, instead of rehearsing what you dread, rehearse what you desire. Guided moment number 2. Take another breath. Imagine the phone call. Congratulations, you did it. Imagine the message. We've accepted your application. Imagine the words, I love you, I'm here. Feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude. See it now. Feel it now, breathe it now, as if it is already yours. The loop forward. But if this practice is so powerful, if imagination truly creates reality, why doesn't everyone live their dream life? Why do so many try but give up? Why do some glimpse change but fall back into old films? The answer lies in the deeper challenge, the resistance of doubt, fear, and old identity. And that is the next chapter of our journey. The moment you dare to imagine a new life, resistance awakens. Because while Neville Goddard taught that imagination creates reality, the old self, the ego, doesn't surrender so easily. The ego whispers, don't fool yourself. Nothing's changing. Show me proof first. And so begins the greatest obstacle: doubt, disbelief, and the pull of old patterns. Ethan's return to worry. Ethan had been practicing his paid-in-full scene for weeks. Each night he closed his eyes and held the envelope with calm certainty. But one morning he opened his mailbox and found another bill. Instantly the flood returned. "See, nothing's working. I'm still in debt. This is pointless." He felt himself slipping back into fear. The scene of freedom faded, replaced by the film of worry he had rehearsed for years. The truth is simple: the old film doesn't vanish overnight. It waits, ready to play again, unless you persist. Maya's return to comparison. Maya too had been living in her imagined scene of love. She felt lighter, freer, more whole. But then one evening she opened her phone. Another engagement announcement, another couple smiling. Her chest tightened. Her mind shouted, "See, everyone else finds love but you. You're still alone." The scene of embrace vanished. The film of rejection returned, and with it the familiar sadness, the identity of unworthiness. The ego's trick. This is the ego's game. It demands proof before belief. It says, "I'll believe I'm free when I see the debt paid. I'll believe I'm loved when someone holds me. I'll believe I'm successful when the world applauds me." But Neville reversed the formula. First comes conviction inside, then comes reflection outside. You don't wait to see. You believe first. You don't beg for proof. You generate proof within. Metaphor: the seed in the soil. Imagine planting a seed in the ground. Each day you water it, you nurture it, but doubt creeps in. You dig it up to check, is it growing yet? Is it real? And every time you dig it up, you kill its chance to grow. That's what doubt does to imagination. It interrupts the process. It uproots the seed before it can sprout. Faith means leaving it in the soil until it grows into reality. The power of repetition. Ethan didn't fail because the scene was weak. He stumbled because the old film had been rehearsed for years. Maya didn't collapse because love is impossible. She faltered because the old identity of rejection had been played too many times. The mind always gravitates towards the familiar, and so the practice is persistence. Reprogramming affirmations. So here is what you must tell yourself when doubt creeps in. Release doubt, release fear, return to the scene, live it until it lives in you. Say it slowly, say it with breath, say it until it becomes truth, because each time you return, you strengthen the new film and weaken the old. Ethan's persistence. One evening, after another wave of doubt, Ethan closed his eyes again. He whispered, "Release fear, return to the scene." He pictured the envelope. He felt the relief. And though doubt still whispered, he chose to dwell longer in freedom than in fear. Day by day, the conviction grew stronger than the worry. Maya's persistence. Maya, too, decided to fight back. After seeing another engagement post, she felt the sting of rejection. But instead of surrendering, she closed her eyes. She whispered, "Release doubt, return to the scene." She pictured the embrace. She felt the warmth, and slowly the sadness loosened its grip. The film of love began to play louder than the film of comparison. The audience's struggle. And what about you? How many times have you started to believe only to be pulled back by doubt? How many times have you glimpsed possibility only to sink into old patterns? How many times have you planted the seed only to dig it up in fear? This is the universal battle, the invitation to persist. The question is not whether doubt will come. It will. The question is whether you will persist through it. Will you rehearse the new film longer than the old one? Will you dwell in the state fulfilled until conviction outshines fear? Because the ego only has one weapon, noise. And imagination has the greater power, creation. Guided moment. So breathe now, release doubt, release fear, return to the scene. Live it until it lives in you. See the end fulfilled. Feel the joy as if it is done. Breathe the relief as if it already exists. Stay there longer than the noise, longer than the doubt, longer than the fear. This is persistence. This is reprogramming, the loop forward. But here's the question that will carry you into the final truth. What happens when you finally believe more in your imagination than in the world around you? What happens when conviction inside becomes stronger than circumstance outside? That is when reality itself bends. That is when life rearranges to match your inner film. And that is where we go next. Neville Goddard left us with a secret that sounds almost too simple to believe. Persist in the scene until it becomes conviction inside. Not once, not twice, not for a minute before sleep and then forgotten in the morning, but night after night, breath after breath, until what was once imagination feels as real as the ground beneath your feet. The shift of emotion. This is the turning point. When the scene is no longer just a picture in the mind, but an emotion in the heart. Because when the emotion changes, when your body feels the relief, the joy, the gratitude, then reality has no choice but to align. Outer life is the echo. Inner conviction is the cause. Ethan's freedom. Ethan kept returning to his envelope. Some nights the doubts screamed. Some mornings the bills still arrived. But he persisted. He lived in the scene more than in the fear. And one day, something strange happened. He opened his mailbox, and instead of panic, he smiled. The fear wasn't gone because the bills disappeared. It was gone because he already felt free inside. And not long after, opportunities came, unexpected income, a forgiven debt, a promotion at work. The outer world began to catch up with his inner conviction. Ethan realized he felt freedom before freedom came, and that feeling summoned it. Maya's love, Maya too, kept rehearsing her embrace. Some days the loneliness shouted louder. Some nights the comparison stung. But she persisted. She closed her eyes and returned again and again to that simple moment, safe arms, warm heartbeat, the knowing that she was loved. And then it happened. She walked into a room and carried herself differently. She spoke with light in her eyes. She radiated worthiness. Soon, healthy connections flowed to her, not because she was desperate, but because she already lived as if love was hers. Maya discovered she felt love before anyone gave it, and that love drew more of itself. The practice for you, and now this invitation is for you. Close your eyes now. Imagine the moment after your desire is fulfilled. Hear the words, "Congratulations, you did it." Feel the touch, the handshake, the embrace, the kiss. Breathe the relief, the weight lifted, the freedom tasted. Let it be real inside you. Stay there, live there. Repeat it until it imprints itself on your subconscious, because what you dwell on with conviction must project itself outward. Persistence over proof. The ego will demand proof. It will whisper, "Nothing has changed. Show me results." But Neville taught us, you don't wait to see. You persist until it feels real. You don't dig up the seed. You water it until it grows. And the moment your inner world shifts permanently, your outer world cannot resist. Your world as a mirror. So remember this, the world is only a mirror. And when you change the scene within, the stage of life rearranges itself without. Persist until your conviction is stronger than circumstance. Persist until the feeling of the wish fulfilled is your home. Persist until the mirror of reality reflects what you already know to be true inside. This is the solution. This is the secret. This is the law. If you stayed with me until now, you've already begun the process of reprogramming your imagination. You've stopped letting fear direct your inner film, and you've dared to dwell in the state of fulfillment. Now let's anchor it together. When you like this video, don't see it as just a click. See it as your declaration. I agree with my new reality. Each like is a seed, a silent affirmation that you are no longer rehearsing fear, you are rehearsing freedom. When you subscribe, you are not just adding another channel. You are surrounding yourself with reminders, with whispers of truth, with signals that pull you back into presence. Every new video will be like water to the seed you've planted tonight, and in the comments, write these words slowly. Imagination creates my reality. Type it as if it were already happening. Feel it in your body. Let every word be conviction. This is not about convincing others. It's about programming your subconscious to accept what your conscious mind has just chosen. Do it slowly. Breathe as you write. Let the truth settle. Because in this very moment, the seed is planted. And tomorrow, in ways you cannot predict, you will begin to see the signs of it growing. Remember, the outer world is just a mirror, and the mirror is about to reflect what you've dared to imagine tonight.